Hey, it's Matt at Bedrock Battery. Today I'm going to show you how to install our 105 amp hour battery as well as our 65 amp hour battery in a Club Car DS A-frame. I'm also going to go ahead and go over some of the features as well as the options that come with the kit. All right, so this is our battery bundle kit. We have quite a few different items on here that I'm going to go ahead and go through with you. One being our patent pending Club Car DS A-frame bracket. It's exclusively on the market just through us. There's no drilling required. It just uses 2 bolts to tie into the main A-frame. The others we have is a onboard charger, a charge receptacle, the charge receptacle faceplate, and then our circular gauge, as well as our instruction manual. This goes through any kind of wiring questions you may have or any kind of do's and don'ts within the install, as well as battery maintenance. And then lastly, one of the items on here in this bundle is the template. Now this is more of if you want to drill specifically. This also is more for the 65 amp hour here. If you like to tie this into parallel for your Club Car DS to get 130 amp hour out of your batteries in general, rather than just doing the 105. That's kind of everything in the bundle. Lastly, this is more just optional. I'm going to go ahead and do this today as well. But this is your 12-volt converter here, as well as your butt connector and T-tap splices for this install. So before we go ahead and get started with our lithium battery conversion, we want to make sure we take all of our lead acid batteries out. So you can just see the main frame here and then tuck any kind of wiring out of the way. Before we start with anything else, we want to make sure that we go ahead and put our cart in tow mode, and then we're going to go ahead and work on a receptacle first while we have some room here, and then also we're going to go ahead and bypass the OBC connection for this, as it's not needed for the lithium battery conversion. So we're just going to go ahead and remove it entirely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bypass the OBC connection. I'm just moving this cable out of the way and then going to go ahead and unhook this harness, as I'm going to use the other side to cut all the cables. More specifically, I'm going to cut the colored cables that aren't the white and blue wires a little shorter, so that way I can electrical tape them and heat shrink them. And then I'm also going to go ahead and cut the blue and white wire a little longer to make it easier to butt connect those two together to make a loop, so that way the bypass can work for the OBC specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut those now, and then I'm going to twist them to make it a little easier to connect the butt connector together, to tie them a little easier. And then while I'm connecting this, one thing to note here is that we usually recommend removing the rear seat kit if you have one, so that way you can access the motor panel to remove, so you can get underneath here in order to do what we're doing here. If not, it is a little harder to do underneath the cart with a jack or lift, so that's why I just kind of remove the rear seat kit to get access here to make it a lot easier to do. All right. right, now that I've crimped that one, I'm just gonna go ahead and plug it back into the harness and make sure it's tight. And then one other note here, I'm going to remove the negative cable on this. Typically the cable that I'm removing, you would just hook up straight to your negative side of your battery. But in this case, I'm replacing it with 2-gauge cables. And so I'm gonna cut the lug end on that main negative coming from the controller. So that way I can go ahead and remove the OBC entirely. You don't have to do this. You can just kind of leave it in there and then reroute the cable from the front to the negative side of the battery. But in this case, I'm going to remove it for my 2-gauge cables. One other note is there's going to be a gray wire that you'll just cut and then leave in the battery tray and then kind of put it up to the side. All right, so when installing the A-frame bracket, you're gonna go ahead and slide this right on into that groove there. You may have to push it down just a little bit and then kind of scoot it to line up the bolt holes on the frame itself. Each side, you're gonna go ahead and put a bolt in. Sometimes I also do recommend using a ratchet or something along those lines to help align that in, but you should just be able to thread it in nice and easy like so. We're gonna go ahead and put the 105 in now. It is a very tight squeeze, but we kind of have to angle it down underneath this lip here and then just kind of slide it up and over and under to get it right in the groove there. And then same thing, we're just lining up the holes with that middle hole there for each side. When we're going to put the battery in, we'll go ahead and just place it right on down in. On some of the batteries, you may have to angle it down over to avoid this lip, but on the 65s, it just kind of places right in, and then you're just trying to line up the hole straight with that first hole there to put it in. So here are our 65 amp hour batteries in parallel. As you can see here, they're all hooked up. One thing to mention is you only really need one screw in the back side for each batteries to hold them down, as they're set in a groove setting already, so they're very stationary. Plus with the weight, it kind of keeps them down. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the gauge in, but there's gonna be a couple things that we're gonna have to do first. We're gonna have to go ahead and pop this dash open here. There's gonna be little screws on the side, on both sides here, one and one. And I'm gonna go ahead and undo this here. On the other one, we are missing the other screw, but just keep in mind that there is a secondary one on that side. Go ahead and pull that out. All right, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of just pull down and out, and it's gonna just kind of pop out here, just like so. And then that's the inside there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and drill right here, as there's a big empty space, as well as I'm gonna go ahead and more than likely just take this gauge out or undo these wires, as it's no longer needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a 2-inch circular hole saw here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just drill in a hole of where I want it. I think I want it just right about here. And I'll clean this up as well before I go ahead and put in my gauge. So next I'm going to go ahead and feed my cabling through so I don't have to feed it up. And this will kind of loop all the way down towards the bottom of the frame. Just kind of feed that in there like so. And I'll zip tie the slack and everything as I get towards the battery bay area. I'm gonna pop it in like so, and that's gonna be pretty snug and tight. Now I do have a clamp if needed on some models, depending on the type of dash and things along those lines. but that's going to be pretty secure in there. It's not really moving or going anywhere, so that's pretty tight. If you are hooking up a 12-volt converter, you are going to want to locate the on wire on your key switch. One is going to be active when the key switch is on, and then whenever the key switch is off, it's going to be inactive. So that's going to be the one that you're going to tie to. For reference, you can look at our 12-volt converter guide for further guidance. So I'm going to go ahead and install the charger. I'm just going to go ahead and either mount it here, or more than likely, I'm just going to mount it on this main panel here. The big key is you just want to make sure you can see that indicator light so you know when the battery is fully charged. Now that we have the charger mounted and wired and hooked up, I went ahead and hooked up the battery as well, and then we're just going to go ahead and finish up with the rest of the hookups. All right, so I went ahead and dropped the gauge cable. This is going to be that black cable. I'm going to go ahead and zip tie it here, but I ran it all the way through this groove here up to the battery tray so I can hook it up to the battery. So now that I'm at the battery, there's going to be this display port right here that I'm going to go ahead and hook up that gauge display wire. Just note that there is a slight little groove there that you want to line up towards the bottom. So you're going to go ahead and just kind of fit it right on in there, and then just kind of push it nice and snug to where it doesn't go anymore. And then you've got just a little nut there that you can go ahead and spin tight to where it's locked into place. So I'm gonna go ahead and charge the cart here. What you're gonna see is gonna be a blinking green light when charging, and then a solid green light whenever it is done charging and balancing the cells. All right, just a note here, while the cart is charging, your cart will also indicate on the display that it is charging here by showing the amps that it's pulling. It should on average pull about 15 amps. And then once it's getting close to being done, it may draw about 5 amps or so when balancing the cells. Once you've hooked up your battery, you can go ahead and turn it on. One thing you do want to do first before you drive it is plug it up so that way all the cells can be brought up to full, and so that way your state of charge meter can be fully calibrated.